This all-in-one video will show you everything you need to know about NotebookLM in 2025. Whether you're a total beginner that don't know what this application is, or a person familiar with the software, this video is for you. You will learn everything about NotebookLM interface, how to work with documents, create useful notes, generate engaging podcasts, and much more. So without further speaking, let's get into it. First things first, we need to go over to the NotebookLM website. The link will be in the description of this video. When you're here, you should click on Try NotebookLM. After you create your account, you should have this entire interface. And for those of you that are not familiar with the NotebookLM, this is an application that lets you kind of learn with the AI. So it's kind of the ChatGPT, however, on the steroids. Because there, for instance, you can create specific notebooks. For example, for the health, for the finances, or even productivity. Inside of the notebooks, you can provide specific sources and you can talk about them. In the real time, you can create notes, create podcasts, and so on and so on. So I will show you everything in this one video, so stay to the end. So generally, firstly, we need to create our notebook, which is on the top of everything. So we can click here to create. And after we do this, this window should pop up. And here, what we need to do, we need to provide our sources for the notebook. And there we've got many different sources like the formats. We can provide the Google Docs from the Google Drive. We can provide, for example, presentation. We can paste the link from some website. So for instance, let's say you've got some article that you would like to use. You can click here and there provide the URL. You can even provide the YouTube video, copied text, and so on. So let's say you've got some part, you can provide the copied text. Moreover, the most common type of the file is the PDF. So here the choice is yours. If you would like to, for example, provide the sources as the Google Docs, as the link to the website, YouTube video, or even PDF. For this case, I would like to provide the PDF. And before doing that, I need to mention, you can provide up to 50 sources per notebook. And overall, you can have a lot of different notebooks. So this is very crucial because you can provide up to 50 sources, 50 PDF files with, for example, 300 pages. So look how amazing that is. You can provide a lot of data and afterwards do amazing stuff with that. So we'll cover it in a moment. However, let me now go over and upload the PDF. Then when we do this, we can see our main interface that we'll be working on. And it's separated into 3 different parts. So first we've got the sources, we have the chat and the studio. Let's start with the sources. So here inside of this one kind of the box, we can provide just our sources, nothing else. So yeah, we can click here on add source. We can provide our link, YouTube video, and more kind of the formats. So this is very important. Also there, we can go ahead and check and uncheck specific sources that we want to, for example, currently work on. So let's say you've got kind of the 3 sources, 4, however you would like to work only on 2 of them. I will cover it later. So this is our first kind of the part. Next, we've got a chat. So here, this is the chat as we are speaking with the ChatGPT. There we've got our title of the notebook. We've got the information, so a quick summary of the document we provided, which is very, very great. Below our summary, we've got a few different options. So we can create a new note, we can generate a podcast, or even a briefing doc. We'll talk about it later in the video. And at the bottom, we've got our chat, where we can speak as, for example, with the ChatGPT. However, it's much more effective and customized for the purpose, which is learning. And at the right side, we've got the third part of our interface, which is the studio. Here we can generate our AI podcast and overall we can collect here our notes. So this is very, very great because not only we can speak with the chatbot about our sources, however, we can create the useful notes about it, which is very impressive because we can store it inside of our notebooks. And now let me show you how everything works. So to begin with, we've got the first source. And what we can do with that? General topic is staying healthy, a guide to well-being. There we've got a summary, And here, to start with, we need to ask some question or just ask to retrieve some specific data. Also, we can use the conversation starters that are very impressive and very useful, sometimes even to start. Because what this application does, it reads our entire file, and based on that, it provides for us the data. So here, for instance, we've got what are the key lifestyle choices for maintaining each life stage. So there I can click on that, and in a matter of seconds, we'll have the response with our data retrieved from this document, which is very, very important. We are not receiving something very random, however, based on the sources we provide. So here you can notice we've got our answer. So the sources describe key lifestyle choices for maintaining health at each stage of life. And there, for younger people, we've got a lot of data. And what are these numbers right here? These are the references for specific cases. So there, this file isn't that formatted perfectly, but we've got here the specific data. When you get a wound, keep it absolutely clean to fight off germs. So the data about it. Then we can click on other number and will be redirected to the other specific part of this document, which is very, very cool. You can upload some files, and after doing that, you can go over and retrieve the specific data and see the specific part of the file from where it was taken, which is absolutely amazing. Let's go over and, for example, add another source. So for this case, let me go over and, for example, add the document about effective study techniques. So I can upload that, and suddenly not only I can work on one file, however, two of them. And what is very cool is that I can unselect one file, and now you can see this number. So we are working right now on the one source. When I again check back this one, kind of the source, now we are talking about the two sources. This is very, very crucial. For example, there I would like to work only on this PDF, and I can simply type, give me 10 the best productivity techniques. I can run this prompt. And now we've got nicely created piece of the content with everything I wanted. So 10 the best productivity techniques. So definitely we can click on these numbers, see what is inside of the file, and now we can see it's formatted nicely. However, what is very important, we can add it, so this data, to the note. We can click Save to Note, and at the right side, we can see the note appeared. We can click on that, and here we've got the entire data saved inside of our notebook, which is very crucial. Let's say you are learning about something. You want to retrieve kind of only the specific part of the document. Let's say you've got 300 book. Instead of just reading that, you can go over, ask your assistant about the specific part to retrieve. So let's say the key insights from the book, and then create the note from it, which is again very crucial. And now even you can imagine how great possibilities we can have with this kind of the tool, which I think is a game changer in 2025. I think we can name it a game changer from one additional fact. We can generate very natural AI podcasts right here about our two sources. So overall, we can click here on generate, and after a few minutes, we'll have our AI podcast where two people will discuss about our files that we have here inside of the notebook. And you will see that will be amazing. So after a few minutes, we've got our 53-minute podcast. And now you will see why I think it's amazing. So let's listen to that.
Hey there, welcome back to the deep dive. This time, it's all about study skills. You've sent over a ton of notes and articles on this, and wow, it looks like you're ready to really dive deep into some serious learning.
Yeah, it seems like you're after more than just surface level knowledge.
Yeah.
These sources point toward deep learning, where you're not just memorizing facts, but truly understanding, remembering, and being able to actually use the information.
That's exactly it. I'm already intrigued by some of these techniques. Like, did you see that one about teaching the material back to yourself? Almost like giving a mini lecture?
That's a fantastic example of active learning, a key theme running through all of your sources. No more passive highlighting. It's about engaging with the material on a whole new level.
Okay, I'm ready to get into it. We're going to unpack how to build a killer study plan, take notes that actually stick, and even crack the code on reading those dense textbooks without falling asleep.
So now you can see why it's so amazing. The people are talking very naturally. They are hesitating before speaking some words. They are laughing. It's again very natural. And you can create a podcast about anything you want, which is truly amazing. Also here, for instance, you can share your content to someone. So you can enable the public access and copy shared link. You can go over, click on these three dots. You can download the podcast, change the playback speed, or even delete. Or just another one amazing feature is that we can enable the interactive mode. And what it does, when we click on it, it opens to us this interface. And now we can speak with our kind of presenters, meanwhile the entire podcast. So we can join the conversation, ask about specific things, or even like discuss about something. So now I can go over play this podcast.
The deep dive. This time, it's all about
And
study skills.
I would
You've
like
sent
to
over
join
a ton
in some
of notes
moment.
and articles on this, and wow, it looks like you're ready to really dive deep.
Oh, wait. Someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Yeah, I like the introduction, but please let's get into it. Give me nice 5 kind of the habits to stay healthy. I mean, let's go deep and kind of don't waste our time.
Okay, I hear you. Let's jump right in.
Absolutely. I like the energy.
So, based on your materials, here are 5 habits for staying healthy that also support effective study.
That's a great way to frame it. Let's get to it.
First off, prioritize sleep, which seems simple, but it's foundational for good cognitive function.
The sources really emphasize consistent quality sleep. It's non-negotiable.
Right. And next up, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Yeah, but I would like to know how to maintain good sleep, because we know sleep is very important, but how should we kind of maintain good sleep? What should we do before sleep? And yeah, how to maintain it.
That's a fantastic question, and it's super relevant to everything we've been discussing about well-being.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of having killer study skills if you're too tired to use them?
Exactly. So your sources have a lot to say about creating a good sleep routine. Let's unpack this.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What are some things we should be doing before bed?
One of the most crucial things is to create an consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day.
Even on the weekends, that can be tough, but I see the value in keeping your body clock regular.
It really helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Think of it like a gentle cue for your body to wind down.
So consistency is key. What else? What about that late night snacking? Is that good or bad?
Well, the source advises eating a light supper if you eat close to bedtime. A heavy meal can interfere with your sleep.
Okay, light supper only. So no midnight pizza feast then.
Definitely not.
So for now, we won't talk more about it. However, I hope you see the real power of this feature. Now let's talk about something which helps us to be more productive. And I mean, these are kind of the shortcuts inside of the NotebookLM. Sometimes inside of our interface, we've got these kind of the buttons or even the options to create a content with just one single click. So for example, here I can click on study guide. And afterwards, kind of it's creating for me the note with the study guide. I can create FAQ, the briefing doc, and just do this in just one single click. So there you can notice, we've got effective study guide, we've got the questions, we've got the answers, and there kind of we've got the essay questions. So this is amazing for the learning purposes. When I go here, you can see we've got also other different kind of types of the files. And again, we generated it with just one single click. Also there, when we have our sources, we can, for example, go here, and there you've got the summary of the file with the key topics. So whenever you upload any source, you've got this summarized here. And for example, let's go over and click on reading strategies. And then you can see we are generating the response. So these are the options that are very handy to use, very kind of intuitive. For example, let's say you can go over upload the source and right away just go over with the conversation starter. You can create FAQ, study guide, briefing doc. You can go over to the specific source and, for example, summarize some specific topics. So, for example, deep learning or exam preparation. So it's very, very useful. Also, when it comes to the notes, at the right side of the page, we can add our very own note. Because here we are kind of adding the note based on the response that we can't edit. However, we can go over and we can click on add note. And after that, for instance, let's say we can copy some part and paste here. We can format it. So yeah, we can provide the heading 1, bold, italicize, or even provide the link. So also we've got this option. Maybe the interface is not that pleasant to work on. However, it's kind of very enough, yeah? So here in general, you can create your notes. When it comes to the difference between sources and the notes, the main one is that on the sources we can work. So yeah, we can select some source. So for example, staying healthy, and I can speak with the ChatGPT about it. However, when it comes to the notes, these are kind of the static parts of the notebook. So there we can store the data, we can see what we have inside. However, we can't do a lot about it. Nevertheless, we've got an option to convert specific notes kind of to the source. So let's say you've got this one note. You like the data, you don't like, for example, 300 pages in some specific PDF, or whether kind of the ebook. You want to retrieve some specific data, only for example this one. What you can do in that case? You can click here to convert this note to the source. And suddenly you've got the most important data and you can talk about it with your chatbot. And let's say, yeah, again, for example, you had 300 pages inside of the document. You only want to have this data. So now, for instance, you can delete it. So remove this source and kind of, yeah, do it by this way. So I can now delete it and only kind of maintain this one specific file. Also, you can go over and convert all of your notes into one big source. So again, you can take some specific file that contains a lot of data. You can retrieve the most important information from here and afterwards convert all of this information in one big source. Now let's talk about organizing our workspace. And I think it's very, very important because when you're working for some time with the NotebookLM, you will have a lot of different sources, a lot of notes, and definitely a lot of mess if you're not kind of organizing everything. So now let's start from the beginning. We can click on this icon, so NotebookLM, and we are here inside of our main interface. So there we can create our notebooks. We can create a new notebook and here provide our sources and so on and so on. However, now to rename this one notebook, we can click here and edit the title. So for example, let's go over with the health. All right, we can save it. And also there we've got filter options. So we can sort by title, share it with me, because of course we can share our notebooks. I will show it later. Nevertheless, we can do this stuff. After we name our notebook, we can go over here and rename our sources. So for example, all information. So this is very, very important. You need to go over and just sort everything up. Because trust me, later it's very important to find the most important data. When it comes to the notes, you can click on some specific note. And when you're there, you can click here and rename it. So for example, test. I renamed it. And here, yeah, I've got the new title. As I said previously, we can share our notebook. And what is very interesting, we can work together with someone inside of our workspace. So simply we need to click here on share and there provide the people by their email. So we can provide some email and there, for example, let's say, let me provide some email. Yeah, I can simply add this person and enable as an editor. I can send it. And after doing that, this person will be able to work together with me. Next to the share option, we've got the settings. So for example, we can change it to the dark mode. We can open the Discord, send the feedback, or even ask for NotebookLM kind of the help. And at the end, we've got our profile picture. And here we've got all of our Google data. And last but not least, I want to show you something very important, and it's about our AI-generated podcasts. So here, when we have our podcast created, firstly, we can delete it and regenerate our podcast anytime we want. So let's say you don't like the first version, you can create the second, the third, the fourth, and so on. However, also we've got this option to customize our AI podcast. And now I will show you my proven formula that I'm using every time to create the best podcasts ever. So generally, this is my proven formula from my comprehensive NotebookLM course. If you would like to check it, the link will be in the description of this video. And here, you will learn everything about this amazing application, so feel free to check it out. Nevertheless, we've got 5 different components of the perfect formula. So the introduction, focus area, main discussion, tone, and audience. And here you've got everything explained, so you can stop the video and read it. However, we've got the 2 parts of this document, and there you've got the example prompt. So first you type the introduction, then the focus area, so focus on 2 areas, eating better and staying active. Main discussions, so avoid processed foods and sugary drinks. So you exactly specify what should be inside of the podcast. Also, you specify the tone and the audience. And this is very, very important. This formula worked for me every time I used it. So definitely it is a game changer and you can manipulate your AI-generated podcasts. So that we have it. I hope you enjoyed this entire tutorial about using NotebookLM in 2025. Please remember to leave me a comment because I would like to know what you think about it. Leave me a like for the YouTube algorithm, click the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.